KwaZulu-Natal Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs spokesperson Nonala Ndlovu joins us now via video link to give us an update on the devastation caused by the storm in parts of KwaZulu-Natal last night. Thank you so much for your time. Now, at the last update, the death toll stood at 10 following a tornado in Otongati, with thousands of people losing their homes, we understand, in other parts of the province. Just give us a sense of the extent of the damage and how the KZN Copter is responding to this disaster.
The damage is quite severe. We have visited the area of Tongat today from the morning until now, and we can confirm that the damage is quite severe. Quite a number of settlements have been affected by the tornado in Tongat. We have received reports that in the Tongat area, 7 lives have been lost. About 52 people are being given medical treatment. Others with minor injuries and others a little bit more severe. We are hoping that we're not going to lose any more lives. There has been a number of houses that have been brought to the ground. Others have lost their roofs, and others have had trees falling over them. And from last night, the teams were on the ground trying to remove the debris from the roads. The electricity has been disturbed. There's some cables lying all over. There's no electricity in the area currently because of the storm. So the damage is quite severe. The teams are working around the clock, trying to clear the pathways so that relief can be delivered to these areas. There are also social partners that are already on the ground, also providing relief to the affected people. Our teams have provided some people with the immediate relief that is needed in terms of the box Bs, which contains some groceries and basic needs like your utensils and stoves that they can use to prepare some meals whilst they are trying to bring their lives back to normalcy. There is at least three centers that have been opened where some of the people are being sheltered overnight, mainly because during the day people go back and they try and search through the debris to collect whatever they can salvage of their belongings in that area. So it is quite a sad situation to watch. The mayor is working with his teams. They are going to have a debriefing this evening to map a clearer way forward in terms of how the people that have been displaced will be assisted going forward, because the measures that I'm talking about now are interim measures. But because of the extent of the damage, there is going to be a need of a larger intervention so that these people can be assisted effectively.
Nonala, have you, in terms of numbers, have you been able to assess exactly how many houses, for instance, vehicles have been also destroyed in this point in time? I mean, earlier on we saw just devastating scenes of, people losing their homes completely, not having anything to go to. Do you have numbers at this point in time?
We've got numbers of affected people, which at this stage we had counted up to about 200 people. But the teams, the profiling teams are still on the ground and they are still consolidating the numbers. There's far more people that have been affected than 200. So this number was just a preliminary number, but the teams are there, and I believe later this evening the teams will be back from the field, and we will be consolidating the numbers up until this evening in terms of how many households have been profiled and how many people have been now confirmed as affected by this situation.
Earlier on, we, of course, listened to Premier of the Eastern Cape, Oscar Mabuyane, saying by now, the Eastern Cape knows and should know that it is a disaster-prone province. So better planning, better forecasting is needed. I mean, do you get a sense there that there's room for improvement in a sense of just better coordination, particularly with the weather service. He did say that, you know, they were planning for a level 2 weather warning, but they were actually dealing with a level 6.
You see, the challenge with these types of events is that even the South African Weather Service, they may predict, they've got instruments to predict, but this is nature. Nature can change within a minute. So we can't really blame the South African Weather Service, because even we had been given a level 4 warning for disruptive rains and winds, but we did not expect that a tornado would hit Tongaat like it did. So there is room for improvement and better preparedness. But also, on the other hand, we must also always understand that nature is nature and it will always take its course. And there is a limited way that we can predict and we can prevent some of the events of nature from happening.
Just in terms of the areas that have been affected, of course, we mentioned, you know, 2 that are particularly devastated by this storm. Have you been able to reach everybody that has been affected in this particular severe weather condition? Because earlier on, our reporters, of course, who are visiting some areas did indicate that the department itself hasn't been to that particular area, and they were getting assistance from your NGOs. Are you able, as COCTA, to then just confirm if you've reached everybody that needs help?
It's not possible that as COCTA alone we would reach each and every household. But also I must clarify that the first point of response is the municipality. So there are teams from the different municipalities, because you'd understand that besides Tongaat, which is in eThekwini, there are other areas in other municipalities that have been affected. So teams from the different municipalities are the first responders to the challenge on the ground. And then our COCTA teams, they do go and assist and provide reinforcement to those teams that are already on the ground. But the first people who are on the ground are the municipality officials who are supposed to respond. The COCTA officials, as much as possible, they are on the ground. But again, I must say, because of the extent of the damage and the limits on the number of warm bodies that actually work with these situations, it would be a tall order to think that they would have been able to reach each and every household that has been affected in such a short space of time.
No, absolutely. What I meant was, of course, have authorities been able to reach everyone, including yourselves? But thank you so much. I think you've answered my question. But thank you so much. And of course, good luck to all those that are working with disaster management to deal with this particular situation.